What's up, everybody? It's Matthew.
What's up, everybody? Rebekah here.
So, Rebekah, I'm
No.
curious. Have you ever had somebody ask you, as a PAC mentor, what kind of trainings or skill building do you guys do as PAC mentors?
Yeah, actually, we have. And sometimes I just offer that information because I don't want learners or new PAC folks to think we get to a certain level and we stop growing. As Tipa says, we're always going up or we're going down. And so we as PAC mentors are always working on our skills and awareness too. So yeah, I try to tell people about that just so that we're not asking you to do anything that we don't do ourselves, especially like that video recording thing that so many people hate, but we have to do it too.
Man, I know I always feel so clumsy looking with my long arms trying to go through this whole PPA thing sometimes, but it has really helped me to sharpen up my skills and get better at that. So I noticed last weekend, actually, in fact, that we had a retreat and I got a chance to be on there and I saw you on there, but I'm wondering, you got to be on the retreat last year, which was totally different than this one. Could you tell us a little bit more about that retreat?
Yeah, so last year's was in person, which that was probably the biggest difference. We were all in a beautiful kind of retreat-like setting. And I think what I missed most was just the togetherness. Today I was looking at a bracelet that Stacy Sokol made me. We exchanged jewelry making and art and just so many things that we were able to do in person. But this is 2020 and we didn't get to be in person. So that's just the nature of 2020. I wanted to ask you though, since you weren't there last year, this was your first PAC retreat, right?
Right. Yeah, my first one.
You just celebrated your 1 year with PAC, right?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yay! Anybody that's watching, if you've had Matthew as a mentor, put a little note to him in the comments. So he just had his 1 year anniversary with PAC, so that's super cool. But I wanted to ask you, as far as the retreat itself, what did you notice was similar or different from other retreats that you've experienced in the past?
Well, definitely a different piece would be the in-person versus all virtual. This has got to be the very first all virtual piece. But what was so similar, though, was the engagement. I really feel like even with that virtual piece in play, that all of the core team that led the different breakouts in the retreat did an amazing job of using AELCs and an experience that was so powerful that it made it like I was there in person. And that's what I truly enjoyed about that retreat piece was I still felt like I was at an in-person retreat, even though I really wasn't with how well that was run. So that was really cool.
It was, and it's so great to feel. So this was a retreat for people who get paid by PAC. So people who work for PAC, whether that's full-time, part-time, or an independent contractor. We wish it could be everybody, but it is for those who work for PAC. But yeah, it was about growing and awareness and stretching our skills.
So I'm curious, all you PAC folks out there, hearing some of what we're talking about here and thinking about all of the webinars and certifications and the free events, the TIPA for 10 or the live at 5. Are you noticing some similarities there between what we're saying that we're experiencing with some of these mentor-based training pieces versus what you guys are? I don't know. What do you think, Rebekah? Are you seeing some similarities there too?
Yeah, so just like we're always trying to grow the skills of learners, we're constantly growing our skills as well. And we're recertifying every year. And we, as PAC employees, have those coaching conversations with each other. What were 2 things that went well? What's one thing you want to work on? So it's just cool to be a part of this PAC community that is always trying to strive to do better. And we got to see some folks last week really show their shine through COVID, which was so encouraging. Did you just love that? I loved last week. We had on some real superstars, and we have more superstars on tonight. But yeah, so how are we going to continue to grow even in the hard times? So what was the takeaway for you from the retreat?
I mean, for me, I think the takeaway was how we can just continue to use that AELC to really help give everybody that we're trying to help in that moment something to walk away with. And no matter what the situation is, because there were some things there that I'm like, how are they going to do an AELC with this? But sure enough, home run out of the park. So that really was my takeaway. How about you, Rebekah? What was your takeaway from the retreat?
I don't know. There were so many. I'm a processor, so I'm still kind of chewing on it all, to be honest with you. But I guess if I had to say one, because you got me here on the spot, I would say just how PAC has modeled shifting during this time, and there's been some really hard things that have happened this year, and people have had to make some tough decisions. But the leadership at PAC is just truly amazing, and we're fortunate to have them and to have them prioritize this retreat when there are so many other things that pull our attention and pull our focus. So I'm noticing in the background, you have a cat, and I'm wondering if you're noticing my dog who wants to be a part of SUP tonight.
I can tell, yes, he's really wanting to join in. And I really think we should see him since you can see my cat. Maybe we should be able to see your fellow participant.
You know what? I actually have put him in the other rooms for that very reason. And now I need earbuds, and hopefully that will help with that sound.
Well, he's a very handsome dog if you guys haven't seen him before on any of Rebekah's stuff. So I definitely recommend if you ever get a chance to ask to see him to do it, because he's a very handsome boy.
It's a face only a mother can love. Maybe I'll put a picture in the comments after we're finished on Facebook.
Ooh, there you go. I like that. I like that.
So let's bring out our highlight. Whose shine are we going to show this week? It is Becky Warren. Becky, can you bring yourself up on the screen?
What's up, everybody?
So, Becky, let's get into it. You are a brand new green PAC certified independent trainer. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on was because we're noticing this thing when we're reaching out to people about being on SUP, that some of the people that have been on have been so amazing that it's almost like intimidating for others. They're like, well, I don't have the research that so-and-so had, or I don't have this set up. And, we wanted to have someone brand new to the certified community on to say, we are showing shine of people who have been doing it for many, many years and folks who are brand new. You had a real cool experience with your recent transformation, maybe that's a bad
Yes, that's a great word.
Okay. So let's start by telling our viewers where you work. What's your situation? Because it's quite unique than most of our viewers probably.
Okay. Well, I work for a home health care company called Bride at Home. I'm a care partner and functioning as a care manager. I take care of a client, Miss Hollywood, and she is my reason for investing in TIPA. I also manage a team of private and Ride at Home caregivers. They are elite, and this class just changed their life. And then, I live across the street from my clients.
So not only are you a care partner for Miss Hollywood, and I love that you call her that. That's just priceless. So you care for her, you manage the rest of the team that works providing care for her 24/7.
Yes.
And you live across the street.
Yes.
Wow. Now, that hasn't always been the case, right? Tell us how that evolved over time.
Well, I started working for Miss Hollywood on February 14th of 2017. And I remember that day because I thought, oh, she must be my Valentine.
Oh, I love that.
In early 2019, the family wanted assisted living with a twist. And so we were able to set everything up, and I was able to move in and provide care in this, and it's really person-centered, and it works out perfectly.
So you started as just a care partner that was working with her, and then the family thought, well, she needs a bit more care, so we want to keep her at home, and so we're going to try this. I love that, assisted living with a twist. And that's when they bought the house and you moved in across the street?
Yes, and I started working as care manager position with Right at Home.
Wow. So you started in 2017.
Yes.
And that's also when you learned about this lady, Teepa Snow, right?
Yes, my very first care manager educated me and the family about Teepa Snow. So I went and found her videos and was just really excited about her material.
Cool. So you found her materials online. And when did you learn about these certifications and how you might want to get certified?
So I learned about the certifications in 2018. And I was really excited. I had also found her educational classes that were available online. So I started implementing them into my daily care routine with Miss Hollywood. So in 2018, it was just amazing to see that the positive approach to care in Teepa Snow was out there, and it just transformed my life so much. I thought everyone should know about these techniques and just how to be positive.
So as we say oftentimes, you drank the Kool-Aid, you drank a lot of it, you were all on board, and you wanted to bring this to others in your area.
Yes, I did. So I started out on a research mission with the community. And what I found is everyone's standard answer was, we have the Teepa Snow Library. And I thought, well, that's really good. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just go and see if I can borrow it. But I just dropped the idea.
So you were thinking about doing a certification course, and it was really wise because you did a little bit of a needs assessment in your community to say, are there going to be people that I can partner with to offer this training? And they said what many of us have heard, certified community, you've heard this, well, we have the videos, or we can watch what's online, that's great. Those resources are available, but it's very different than having a PAC certified trainer come in and offer that education, right? Offer that training, offer using those AELCs. But when you heard that, you're like, well, this isn't really going to pay off for me in a sense. They're not going to be open to it. So you closed the door on it at that time, right?
I closed the door.
So that was 2018.
Yes.
Now, what happened that you finally said, all right, it's time. I'm going to get certified after all? And why in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, in 2018, we really had to start building Miss Hollywood's care team. For a while, I had managed being the care partner by myself, but now our needs were changing and we needed to add. And that's where we've built our elite caregivers. So, I'm sorry.
You're good. So you were thinking about, you were building the team, and part of that was wanting to relay
Yes.
these skills. And so
because dementia life is hard, and it doesn't choose, it chooses us. And I needed some way to go to where the things that we were experiencing with Miss Hollywood, that we would have options of what may be the trigger, what could I do to make her more comfortable, do I need to change the situation? And so my mind, one morning I was sitting in my chair in May drinking some coffee at like 4:30 a.m. and the thought just came across and said, why don't you see how 2020 changed Teepa Snow? And I went on and found a class for the champion and the trainer certification for June.
I love that. So you were thinking, all right, here are all these changes that we've been encountering, and you thought, how has 2020 changed Teepa? And just like we were talking about beforehand, with Matthew and I talking about the retreat that we had over the weekend for the PAC team, and we've all made shifts. So you're thinking, what kind of shifts has Teepa made? And I love that, because you were wanting, it sounds like, to have an increase in knowledge, awareness, and skills for yourself, but also that piece of being able to train and support the rest of the care team that you oversee. And you've been a trainer in the past, right? A different kind of trainer. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I spent 13 years in the telecommunication industry, and I was a trainer for 11 years. When I ended my career, I was part of the Mid-South region. So, hey, if you guys are out there.
So a pretty different kind of training, I'm guessing, than what you're doing now.
It was different. It was process. Most of it was process-based. And you had to train how to do these things. Otherwise, it wasn't going to work in the computer system. So there wasn't a lot of room for, the way that you can explore with your students using ALECs. The soft skills that I taught there kind of remind me of positive approach to care. I know if I would have had this while I was training those classes, they would have been so much better.
But you weren't given these tools for the PAC trainer tools and skills. You were just you were told, okay, here's what you need to teach people, go out and teach it. And so you had that experience, which made you at least feel comfortable being in front of a group, kind of being in that authoritative, in a sense, or trainer role. But then you went to PAC trainer certification, and what were some takeaways that you had from that course?
Some takeaways, the ALEC, that was just mind changing for me, because for so many years I had to stay away from the question of why. It also, how you're smart. I love that. And there's multiple intelligence that PAC has introduced me to, and it's going to be very helpful for me, because now when I connect with people, if I can figure out how they're smart, I can possibly help them. And so that's exciting.
I just want to pause for a second, because, man, we love acronyms in PAC, don't we? I mean, PAC, Positive Approach to Care, Positive Physical Approach, Hand Under Hand, and AELC. So for those of you that aren't PAC certified as trainers and you're thinking, what is this thing Becky's talking about? It is the Adult Experiential Learning Cycle. And actually, if you go back to the beginning, when Matthew and I were talking about the retreat, you may notice that we were doing a little bit of an AELC with each other. We're sneaky like that. So the Adult Experiential Learning Cycle. And another thing that Becky was just talking about, for those of you that aren't aware, of this is the multiple intelligences and how, as she said, we are all smart in different ways. So do we like to do to learn? Do we like to see things? Are we visual? Are we kinesthetic? So there's all these types of learners. And so what you're noticing now that's different than your training before, Becky, is that you're starting to pick up on different people's types of smart and how you can help them learn in a way that is comfortable for them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. And also getting to ask those why questions. And I know you shared with me before, people being able to have their own ahas and their own applies, which is so cool. So for your certification, because as all of you PAC certified trainers out there know, you have to do that workshop A and record yourself 15 to 20 minutes, leading a couple of AELCs, and then we watch it with your mentor. And oh, yes, again, this is something that Matthew and I have to do every year too as PAC team members. Watching ourselves, oh, that stinks. But you went to your team and you did the training with your team as your certification training. And we watched that, and it was really cool because there were some pretty big ahas and some pretty big shifts that you guys made quickly. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Actually, the changes were immediate. The next shift it was just life-changing. We were able to come together as a team, and we made changes in her bathroom area so that we wouldn't break our connection with her during Hand Under Hand while we were assisting her with that. We also learned how to do the Hand Under Hand assisting with standing, and it is wonderful. It's saving our back, it's saving our legs. She has a sense of accomplishment also, and that's one thing that we're all learning is that, with the partnership that's created, she has a sense of accomplishment. And we're also able to handle the uh-ohs better, like, okay, this is not going well. We know, step back, take a deep breath, and see what you can do to, make it better.
Yeah, so turning those uh-ohs into ahas, what can we do differently? And I remember you called me, or we were emailing because we were still doing the mentoring, and you said, oh my goodness, we changed her bathroom. It was not a huge deal, but it's making all the difference in the world in getting her to have a comfortable getting to the bathroom experience versus a not so comfortable. Those little things that make a big difference.
Yes, most definitely. And the best news of all, my team reports that their job is 50% easier.
What?
So that is the real blessing.
So they say, my job is 50% easier because I have the skills that you, Becky, learned, but then you showed them to your team, and so it's had a huge ripple effect, right?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
That is so cool. And another really cool thing that you told me about was after you got your certification and you had been communicating with Ms. Hollywood's family throughout the certification experience, just telling them what you were doing. And this was an investment that you made in your future. And after you graduated, or when you got your certification, they were so excited that they actually paid it forward in another way. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Yes. We have a place called the Caring Place, and it is services for caregivers in the community. They take care of their person living with dementia all of the time. So you can take this person and they can spend a few hours, I think it's 4 days a week, to give them time to rest, because it's so important that caregivers recharge. And they were able to make a donation to the Caring Place. So that was very exciting. And, it just makes you feel good because you want to do good for all of the people, especially if they're living with a brain change or dementia.
Yeah, so they kind of honored you by making this donation to support even more care partners in your community. That is so, so cool, and really shows the heart of the family that you're working with. Again, this is a really unique situation because it's a lot of care partners. You know, maybe you work with one person on Monday and the next person, but there is this team around Miss Hollywood, and you guys have been able to jump in and immediately implement some of the changes that you just learned. You were at the course, I think it was in June.
Yes.
I mean, we're not talking you've been doing this for years. You just got certified, and you've already made a huge difference in Miss Hollywood's life and in the community where you live. That's so, so cool. So tell us what you're up to today.
Okay, well, today our care situation continues to evolve and get better. We still communicate freely and, take all suggestions to make Miss Hollywood's life as happy as it can be. In 2019, I was the Caregiver of the Year for Ride at Home. Ooh. And in 2020, I busted through the glass ceiling, and that's their words, because Ride at Home and I have formed a partnership to where we're going to deliver the training to the Ride at Home caregivers in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. So it's very exciting. I'm also looking forward to working with public foundations and also families in the area. And really, since we're doing everything online, I can connect with anyone. And in the future, I have a student in Serbia that I'll be able to connect with. So I'm really looking forward to a future with PAC and learning a lot more because I have a lot to learn.
Don't we all? So that's so cool. So you really are passionate about improving the life of Miss Hollywood, but also your community, and you're going to do training. And it's so cool that, again, you did this on your own. This was your own initiative. You wanted to become a PAC certified independent trainer, and now it's opening a new door for you with your organization so that they're actually going to hire you to do some training. Yeah. Kind of cool outcome that maybe you didn't foresee so much. Really, really cool. So it's funny because we're also going to talk to Kathryn Quinlan tonight. And Kathryn, everybody loves Kathryn. Everybody say hi to Kathryn in the comments. I know a lot of you have had her as a mentor, so she's a PAC mentor. But what some of you don't know about her is that she started off in a very similar journey to yours, Becky. And so I look forward to you guys connecting and you hearing Kathryn's story and how she got to be where she is now, and give you maybe some words of wisdom. But thank you for coming on, Becky. Everybody say thanks to Becky. You're awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Becky. That was so awesome. Such an amazing story.
Thank you, Becky. You're doing good work.
Well, thank you for having me on. Y'all have a good night.
Don't go away. Just hang out. I'm going to talk to you.
You're going to talk to me? Okay. I'll go
right this second, but just don't go away. Don't go away.
Okay.
So cool. So I'm super excited to introduce or bring to the stage Miss Kathryn Quinlan. Kathryn Quinlan to the stage, please. Kathryn Quinlan to the stage.
Did I get my 5 minutes? Did I get my 5 minutes?
Oh, thank you for joining us tonight, Kathryn. We're so excited to have you. And as Rebekah was saying, so you were telling us
Sorry, I didn't do this earlier. I should have done it. But thank you for having me. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
With this, it's really exciting. It's an honor that you asked me to join you.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're super excited that we get to share you out here with SUP. And, especially with this piece, because you had such a powerful story when you first started with PAC and even before that. So tell us a bit about what you were doing before PAC and how it got you into PAC with this whole home care partner situation.
So I had a previous career in the arts in New York City. That was my adult life career. And I was successful in it, hit a little bumpy patch, and realized there's more to me than this. And I started looking into either Montessori or dementia care. And the opportunity for dementia care and whatever took hold. And my first really intense position was originally as a companion care partner for a woman who was fairly in society, who was very involved in the arts and the boards of Metropolitan Museum of Art, of MoMA, of opera, symphony. They were very involved in Broadway, the arts community. One of the reasons I was hired is that I could be with her and be a part of her continuing to participate as a companion. She was also very active in parts of the community supporting people living with dementia. She had actually been the public policy director of the New York City chapter for the Alzheimer's Association and had been fired, and wasn't recognized that the reason she was changing was because she was living with dementia. Anyhow, when I started working with her, and I was hungry for knowledge and hungry for more skills, I was always grabbing for skills. Just like Becky, a care manager introduced me to TIPA. I followed, and then all of a sudden, I started in 2012, and I remember the date, Becky, May 12th, 2012. I remember the date I started. I saw all of a sudden, TIPA's going to start training people to do what she does. And in my previous life, I had been a coach and a trainer. And I had always said, I want to do what she does. That's what I should be doing. That's what I should be doing. And I went to my first certification trainer in July of 2014. So that's how I sort of had been watching and trying, and I kind of done a little bit of, wait a second, no, if I try this and it worked for me, but sometimes I would kind of do, no, look, try this. I saw this TIPA snow. It's really worked. And it didn't go over too well till I became a trainer.
So you were noticing so you got into this situation, right? You're a care partner for somebody, and this care manager was like, hey, so there's this TIPA snow lady that you should really check out, because she noticed how hungry you were for developing that skill, right? And getting that knowledge. And so then you went and did the certification thing, and you got this new set of tools. So,
and by the way, did I say this? I think it was the second certification she ever.
No, you didn't. Wow. So you got in on the second certification. Now, was TIPA by herself, or did she have a team with her when she did it? So it was all.
No, she had a team. She had a team who was punching holes in the notebook binder things that we were getting and checking us in. It was one day.
One day for that certification. Wow. And it's evolved now to where pre-COVID, it was 2 days, and then we added champion 3 days. And now with COVID, we've made those adjustments. We've got times in the morning, times in the afternoon.
I've been lucky to be a part of the evolution of.
You really have, from the start to where we are now, and all of the shifts. That is so cool. So you got the certification, and you started noticing these situations popping up around.
Yeah, well, my situation was that it was kind of like, well, I'm a private home care person. I work 4 12-hour shifts a week. And now suddenly we're starting to get, I started at, daily. It started 3 days a week for 4 hours. Then I got 5 days a week for 4. It just kept building her need for support until we started developing a team. It was just adding and adding and adding. But I just didn't quite have the place to be doing workshops because I wasn't in a community or in a large community. But then I started realizing we got very involved. New York City is amazing Arts and Minds, Meet Me at the Met, Meet Me at the MoMA. So many programs for people living with dementia and their care partners that we were very involved in. We could almost have any kind of arts, music, it's just amazing. So what I started noticing once I got trained was people were noticing me and my skills. They were noticing hold on, how'd you do that? Or I started seeing the same people over and over. We became friends. We created a community, seeing the same care partners and people living with. So I had relationships, really strong relationships. And people would then notice my skills because we would sometimes watch out for each other. Hey, can you stay with Marshall? I need to go. Sure. Well, we take care of each other as a community. And they started noticing me with some skills. I'll give you an example. I was at a social tea dance, and there was a man and a woman, both had primary progressive aphasia. Both had partners in life, married. One had lost her partner but didn't realize it. But when they danced, they got very intimate and very connected. I later said, I'm wondering, what does his wife look like? And they were like, and I said, how tall is she? What color hair does she have? How does she style it? And they were like, oh, because they were like, no, you can't do that. She's married, he's married, and I was like, well, hold on. Processing, and that was a kind of conversation that started like, well, wait a minute, let's think about it. What's happening to his brain? And then another time they got holding hands and they wouldn't let go. I mean, they got that strength. These are firm ambers, if not moving to ruby. And I was like, oh, hey guys, because they're my friends now. Do you mind if I try? And I just said, Marshall, hey, sir, let me shake your hand. He let right go. And they were like, and it started to turn into, no, I'm not that special. I just have not, awareness, knowledge, and some skill. So I started figuring out, or art museums, they would shove everybody, hurry up, put them closer, put them closer, put them closer, and then put them in front of big giant paintings and put them closer, thinking, and then they would kept going, look over, up here, no, over here, no, over here, up here, up here, up here, up here. And I finally said, hey, and I did a little AELC. I figured out ways, like, try this, put on your binoculars. So what I know is, I did this really cool training, is that people living with dementia, their vision changes. So most of the people in this group, I can tell by their verbal abilities, are probably in this state called emerald. So they are able to communicate with you and notice. It's just that we didn't realize. Anyway, so where do you think you might want to put them now? So I did a whole AELC, and I started realizing that was where I really started. So my training, it later evolved to people who are like, oh my God, can you train the in-home care staff? And then I would start doing workshops. But it was having those in the moment AELCs ready to go about the things that make the most difference to most people.
Wow. So what I'm hearing here is, with this whole in the moment situation and trying to do a training right there and giving them that little boop of skill, right? How hard was that to approach somebody in the moment who was probably already amygdala raised, frustrated? The person who they were trying to help maybe was not too happy in the situation, or they were trying to figure out how to help them. What were you starting to notice about your approach with those folks?
Hey, Matthew. Hey, it's good to see you again. Here we are.
Hey.
Oh, man, Duke is really having a tough time today, huh? How are you feeling about things?
Yeah, it's tough. He's having a hard time seeing the painting, and I'm trying to show him, and it's not working.
Yeah, it's tough. So you know him so well.
We've spent a lot
And
of time.
I'm wondering if you would be willing to let me share with you something that might help you help him a little bit, because you were so good with him. You know how he is. You know his moods. Would you be willing to let me share with you something I learned at this training I went to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I've seen you do a little bit before. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, we see each other every week. So here's what I learned. Their vision is changing. So what did you notice, anybody? Becky, Rebekah, whatever. What did you notice I did right up front?
Yeah. And folks on SUP tonight, comment in that section down below. Let us know, what did you notice about what Kathryn just did with me when it came to that approach in a potentially
What skill did I
difficult
use
moment?
first? What skill did I use first? The one that it's not my agenda to teach to people right off the bat. It's the one I need to use every single interaction, relationship I'm trying to interact in.
I saw a hey, Matthew, Kathryn.
I'm noticing. So most of the people that I did that with, so Becky, what did you notice?
Okay, I noticed that you used the beginning of the PPA grading. You know, gaining his attention and then connecting verbally.
I connected with him. Now, was I using the whole PPA or was I just using the pieces of the recipe?
Just a little piece of the recipe.
Pieces of the recipe. Yeah, that's a skill that you get to know that everything's a little different. Yeah, I started with empathy. Somebody in the chat said I started with empathy. Oh my gosh, I know this is hard. Look, don't think I haven't had this happen before. And I see it over here and I see it over here because we're meeting in this group. So let's say I took you through vision changes. Okay, so Matthew, put on your things. I kind of described it already. Put on your binoculars, and I'll just pretend we did all that. So where would you prefer her to be? So him to be. So what happens, do you think, what happened for you when you put on binoculars and went close and then went far away?
Yeah, well, what you see is completely different.
It's completely different. What's different about it?
Well, you know, when you're close, you're seeing everything like this, and then when you're going back, you're getting sort of a bigger picture, but it's not too much bigger.
Not the whole big picture if you put me in front of a giant painting, but the further back you go, the more maybe you can see. So where is it that is a good place to pause, do you think? To be able to still see, like as a human being?
Around 6 feet.
Around 6 feet. Why do you think I asked you to try this?
What's the number one way, guys, that we take in
visual. Data? Because the number one.
Well, I'm not asking Becky alone. Why did I do this? Okay, I'm going to go bigger picture now. Why am I doing this now with you guys? Why am I giving you this much information? What am I trying to get you to figure out?
So I'm noticing, Kathryn, that you were picking up how powerful using this vision, this awareness of vision, and how it changes with brain change, and being able to use that in the moment to give that tidbit of that just tidbit of awareness, so that hopefully you bring them to this better understanding of what's going on. And it's not running the whole workshop. You didn't have to run the whole workshop to do that. You were able to take a piece of it. And
so Matthew is noticing taking a little tiny piece of content. So what part of the cycle did Matthew I asked him a question and he gave me both that, he bypassed the literal and went into the next part of the cycle. Where did he take us? Because he's a very verbal, interpersonal. He talks it out to figure it out. He took us into what part of the cycle? So we just went directly from share to
connect.
So now where's our apply? What's our apply going to be? Becky, help me figure out for you from watching how or figuring out what I did was learn, I'm not going to do all this training. What Matthew figured out is a teeny little bite, maybe that vision piece,
Yes.
because it's so impactful.
Yes.
So what does it apply for you, Becky, as you move forward as a new trainer? You are not going to be able to, especially in COVID times, wide sweep, which I hear you having visions of doing, and keep those dreams alive. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. But as a new trainer,
as a new trainer, my takeaway is I'm going to take it little pieces at a time. And if I have the opportunity to interact with you in the moment, I want to make sure that I have the most valuable piece of information that'll be most helpful to you at that time.
yeah. So having that little tiny bit of content at the ready in your back pocket, because as new PAC trainers in our standard model, we ask everyone to use the video clips and use TIPA, let TIPA deliver the content, and absolutely yes. But if there's a teeny little piece that you can have at the ready, if you can focus on that, there's two pieces you got to have at the ready. So it's that little bit of content as we age, normal aging, starting to change, really changing, if that's it. And you can get a mentor to mentor you on some of that content. How can you make it manageable and accurate? But there's a second piece to this puzzle. So you've got to have a little bit of meaningful content ready. Mm-hmm. And what else do you have to have ready? So you don't do this.
Oh. So I need to have myself ready. And
yeah, yourself, and using what? What other tool?
That key learning.
Oh my gosh.
I know, breathe. Okay, hold on, Becky. Breathe.
Okay, hold on.
I don't mean this to be a test. Matthew, you can ask. So, and Matthew, what do you think I've been using all along here, from what you know about me, from what you know about, accomplished trainers? What can we always have ready to do?
Those AELCs.
Those AELCs.
Everything. It can be used with everything.
Oh, good. That's what I was thinking too.
I knew you were. You got a little nervous because you're. Go ahead.
I use ALECs all the time. My husband, I even did one with a little dog the other day. I don't think he understood it, but we both calmed down, and so it was great.
So cool. I know as a new trainer, and this is not just for you, Becky, but this is for whoever is participating and watching. Sometimes when we're new, it's hard to remember those steps, especially when we're stressed. We're like, oh God, I see an opportunity. Oh, I could really use this vision thing. Or, oh my God, oh wait, I have to do an AEC, because if I just tell them their vision is changing, I should get in front of them. Or, oh my God, you're too close, or you don't touch me from the side. Oh shit, I can't. Oh my God, how do I make them figure it out so that they remember it so it means something? I have a little thing that I would like to share with everyone that I like to have on the spot for me that makes me go like, okay, I can. So I want to share this with you, Becky, Rebekah,
coming on here.
Matthew. This is a little bit, I'm looking to this for, I know who it is, for my musical rhythmic, kinesthetic for the most part, and maybe my verbal linguistic, who might like the rhyme. I'll show it to you and talk you through it first, and then I'm going to ask we all try. Here's how I remember the AELC. I start with my right hand up here, and I go, experience. And I go to share. What, how? So it's the what happened, how did you feel? What, how? Then I move to process, and I draw with my fingers a question mark. Why? Why did that happen? Why did you feel that way? Why? So now I'm moving away from my skill fingers, and I'm moving to my strength. I'm going to move to the other side with strength. I'm going to connect. This is the bridge. This is the bridge that connects from this side of figuring it out, of having something happen, to figuring it out, the bridge. When has this happened for you? When has this happened for people living with dementia? Connect. Connected. And once I do that, oh my gosh, my left hand can come up for something, apply, something new to try. So here's how I do it, wrapped up. Experience. What, how, why? Connect, apply, something new to try. So one more time. Ready? Right hand up. And say it too, because it helps. Experience. What, how, why? Connect, apply, something new to try.
Wow, that's so awesome. That is such a powerful way of, especially for anyone who's new, starting out with these AELCs, to be able to recall those different steps. And then just that piece, Kathryn, that you gave us about how when we do this, right, and we go through the mentor training and we're looking at the workshops and like, okay, great, I've got these workshops, so I'm going to look to do these workshops, but realizing, oh, sometimes we don't necessarily have to do the whole workshop. We can take these pieces of the workshop and we can apply them to situations to help someone gain some new awareness and maybe some skill to help them in a moment. And then on top of that, going back to the PPA and how that's going to help us get connected with somebody in those moments to be able to give them that piece.
Yeah, because what's the most important thing? What we care about first, always in PAC? Number one is
Connection.
the relationship. Because nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change unless you are in a relationship that is symbiotic, equal, and supportive on both sides. Or more than one side, in a faceted way.
Wow. That is
Becky,
so
I hope that's going to help you. I hope that's not too much.
No, it was
You are
perfect.
well on your way.
That is so cool. So we got a chance to see Becky and her shine and everything that she's doing with her new certification, the new skill that she has and awareness. And then we got to see Kathryn and how she's kind of been through this journey before and some of the things that she learned from that journey and some tips for all of you folks out there, you care partners, to be able to be ready, to be prepared to potentially do something like this. So that is so awesome. So Rebekah, I'm curious, with all of this awesome stuff we've gathered tonight, what's something for you that you've taken away from this experience?
I just love that we're all growing and learning together. Just that we can come at different levels and at different experiences and different times and different levels of awareness and all of that, but we can all come, and our goal, our why, I can tend to be a detail person. Oh, you know that about me because we've been doing SUP now for a few months together, and I'm all up in the details. But the big picture, the why, is always about those people who are living with dementia and supporting them. And we all want to make ourselves better, not for us. And that's the cool thing about SUP. This isn't about me and you or Tifa. This is about showing the shine of our certified community. And we had 2 rock stars on tonight, so that was awesome. And also, I'm thinking about ways that others can get their more skills. And I know we are getting close to running out of time. We do this every single week, but there are some great opportunities for those of you out there watching to get some skills and also maybe learn about AELCs and all of that. So it looks like Matthew's pulling up some upcoming events. Really want to talk about these Friday courses for the certified communities, Friday open sessions. And Kathryn's on every Friday, and Alejandro and Bonnie and myself and a couple of others. And you never know who you're going to get, but there are always mentors on these Friday sessions for our certified community to come and practice their skills, learn and grow together, ask questions. So yeah, really want to mention those Friday sessions for our certified community to come and grow and learn together.
Right.
Hey, Rebekah, if someone wants to go there, do you know where to tell them to connect to get the information or get connected? I don't see it on here myself.
I think I jumped ahead for Matthew, so.
And Carrie just put it into the chat too. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, Carrie's
Okay.
got it in the chat there for us, and we'll make sure that gets on. I'm sorry, I've got the champions up. I was about to say for all you folks out there who aren't certified, but they're looking to get some of that skill and awareness, we've got these champions days that you guys can be a part of and join in to be able to gain some of that skill and awareness. We've got them running through October, lots of great opportunities. Make sure you jump on that tipasnow.com event page and you can find those. And also a big reminder. So we were talking a lot about this whole AELC thing, right? And that trainer piece, that AELC is that big tool that trainers have. And so that trainer certification on October 20th, we've got that coming up. You can still sign up for that. So get onto that tipasnow /events, and you'll be able to find the sign up for that. And then as well, looking at all of the different upcoming free events and certification events. We've got the Brain Connection Cafes. We've got the Let's Talk with Tipa and Ask Tipa Anything. And they also just recently added a Care Day Symposium on October 25th. So another great event with Tipa, being able to get on there. And from what I noticed on there, it looked like care partners or caregivers there would be free for that one. So check that out on that tipasnow.com event page. And of course, we always got our Tipa for 10 in the mornings, and we've got our Live at 5, which Kathryn is on as well. So we always get to see Kathryn on there, and some other great team members as well. So lots of great events, lots of great ways for you guys to get more awareness, more skill, and things to sign up for. So please join us on any of these pieces. We would love to have you, love to give you support in any way, because we want to definitely put the SUP in support for all of you out there.
Thanks, Matthew. Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Kathryn, for being on. And as always, thank you to our fantastic Chat Chaser webinar host extraordinaire, Carrie. So SUP, everybody, until next week.
SUP, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you guys so
guys.
much.
This was a lot of fun and an honor to be a part of. Becky, you got this.
Thank you.
Thanks,
This
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night. See you next time.
Yeah.